Finally, we're up and running. God damn it, this computer makes me want to go nuts sometimes. What? I was about to. I was supposed to start the stream at. I was 7, wasn't it? Yes. And I've been sitting here. I've been sitting here for like literally half an hour trying to make this stupid computer work. I'm not at my regular computer. I'm not at home. I'm on a different computer. So Windows decided to update itself. So I love you, Windows, for doing that. But finally, we're here, and yes, there are people coming into the stream. How cool is that? I really wanted to make something out of this stream background, but I didn't have any time because things. Ah, glad nationaldag. Thank you so much. As I've stated, this is Swedish National Day, 6th of June. I can't pronounce the word sixth, but I tried. So this stream is gonna be a little bit about Sweden, and maybe since it's a live stream, I could have done like a video about it. But I thought it maybe would be a fun thing that maybe if you have questions or stuff, we could discuss things. But I have a couple of things that I want to go through, and hey, maybe we'll learn stuff today, like always. Um, it's been a beautiful day here in Stockholm, at least. I didn't expect that because the last few days has been um, horrible. But I'm gonna say hey to all of you who's saying hi in the chat. So, hey, 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 man, hey, hi, and glad nationaldag, of course. Yes, um, it is nice because we can interact with you, and hopefully I will not. I will try not to forget the chat. So when I'm looking this way, I'm looking at the chat. So now I'm talking to you, but here is the chat. You know the deal. You know the drill. Hey. But yes, it's the National Day. What a day. What a lovely day. As I said, the weather's been awesome. No clouds. I think I might have got a sunburn. Who knows? People claim that I'm red haired. I'm not, but hey. So, but I don't tend to get that sunburn though. But just trying to stay out of the sun though. But I've spent my national day up on a place called Drottningholm, which is a castle just outside of. It's still in Stockholm, but it's still a bit outside of Stockholm, and yeah, they have like an event going on there. Sorry, and we had a picnic there, and it was good times. Good times. Yes. So, what have you been doing on this wonderful, glorious day? This is my question to you, and it would be lovely to see that because, as of I think it's pretty recently. Oh, it's actually 2005. This day is a red day here in Sweden, so it means that people are off work, and which is nice. But it's actually pretty recently, which kind of indicates that this day isn't really a very important day for the Swedes. However, we'll go into that and see what that means. So, Adrian, you say that Nationaldag seems so fun in Sweden. For equivalent days, Scotland and England were pretty much do nothing. Well, I wouldn't say we do that much here. Well, there are a couple of TV shows going on, and I think they have some kind of an event by the castle or somewhere around there. But normally, I think the National Day is actually most Swedes don't know about it. uh, Besides the fact that you're actually getting a day off work, but what interests me most is that the National Day over in Norway, for example, is way more of a celebration. And we could discuss a little bit by why it could be like that. I'm not claiming to know every detail about that, but I have my ideas about it. Hey Anton, how are you doing today? Are you doing fine? I hope you are doing fine because I'm doing splendidly. And I just want to say that it, it makes me so happy to do this stuff because I've been thinking about this stream for a long time now. Not that I've done that much to it, but since the last stream, I just realized how fun it was to just stream and not sit and edit stuff because, you know, it's fun editing, but it's more fun to talk with you. I love how Sweden's National Day is in June because it's probably good weather. That is true. However, you know, you can't trust the Swedish weather. You know, um, like for example, 1 week ago it was raining. It was about 12 degrees. It's a bit of a schizophrenic weather here. But today it was actually about 28 degrees, which is nice. But it's gonna be shit weather tomorrow, so better enjoy it while it lasts. And says I'm sitting inside, but I'm with you, so I'm good. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I want to do on this stream. For example, firstly, I want to go through some quick facts about Sweden because hey, it's the Swedish National Day, so I thought it would be fun to know quick facts about Sweden. And then also I wanted to, because I didn't know this, and kind of goes to show how much we care about the Swedish National Day, but the actual history behind why have we chosen 6th of June and not another date. Hi to Nackagubben from an actual gubbe. Oh, okay, so you're a gubbe, dude. I didn't know that. I wouldn't, like, judging from your avatar, I wouldn't say that you're a gubbe. But hey, just a quick note there. If you want to learn Swedish, no, I hate being a besserwisser, but I guess you're all here because you like learning things and Swedish language. Gubben, as in my YouTube name, is actually the I don't know the term for that, but it's saying the old man. So if you want to say only a old man, then you say just gubbe and remove the N. And the whole subject of when to put T or ET or EN at the end, that's a different topic. We're hopefully going to go through that in a video, I hope. But yes. So, quick facts about Sweden. Hey, we're here. They're actually, I'm reading from a webpage. I'm not an encyclopedia. That's the word. Hey. There are 10 million people in Sweden. I did know that. Which is, we broke, I remember when we broke the 10 million wall. Wall? Is it a wall? I don't know. But we were 9 million people for a long time. And to compare that with something, I think there are about 10 million people in London only. So that gives you the idea of how few people there are in this country at all. And I think, I actually want to look this up as well, but I think the countries around us are even smaller. Well, I know that. I know Sweden is the biggest country of all the countries here in Scandinavia. But for example, I think Norway has about 4 million. Could it be? Could it be correct? Could it be correct? No, 5 million actually. 5.2 million. So they're about half of Sweden, which is cool. I'm not judging here. Hello from Finland. Moi from Suomi, I guess. Moi larutsalainen. I don't know how to say that in Finnish, but hey. Poetic license. I don't know what you wanted to say with that, but I guess it was something fun. My mom didn't even remember that it was Sweden's National Day. Yeah, I guess most people don't. It is a special day. Okay, so other cool facts. I guess you all know that the capital city of Sweden is Stockholm because that's the city, I guess, is the most famous city. But I think it's worth mentioning that we have two other large cities here, which are Gothenburg, or Göteborg, as it's called in Swedish, and also Malmö. I don't know if there's an English translation to that, but Malmö, yes. Those are pretty large cities. Well, when I say large, it's like large. It's not that many people. I think it's in the sub. Well, the center of Stockholm, not the center, but if you don't count the suburbs, we have about 1 million people here in Stockholm, which is about the 10th of the whole country. And then we have Gothenburg as well. Let me just check those facts up before I start speaking gibberish, because gibberish is, well, it's my main language, but hey, you can't, I gotta go with facts, you know? Uh, Erik, you ask what people do on Swedish National Day. It's a good question, actually. And I thought we could go through that while I talk a little bit about why we celebrate the National Day from the beginning. Johan Randström, hello, I'm from Sweden. Hej, är det bra eller? That's not my real accent, but hey. On Finnish, it's moi olen ruotsista. That was the hardest word ever. Come on. Moi olen ruotsista. Yeah. You get the hang of it. Okay, so where was I? In Stockholm, there is about 1.5 million people, actually, and that's counting the suburbs, which is pretty much people. I would say it's about 1 million. And then in Gothenburg, you have about 500,000. And then in Malmö, you have about 300,000. So in Sweden, that's considered a lot of people. But I guess if you compare it to London, it's not that much. Oh, I got it right. Thank you. Ruotsista. No, that's I'm trying at least. Finnish is fun. KMS. I don't know how to pronounce your nickname. I guess it's kilometers per second. Have you ever been to Jakobstad? No, I haven't. I don't even know if I know where that is. Should probably look that up. Probably a lovely city. I've been around the country. Oh, it's not even in the country. Sorry. I guess it's in Finland. Is that correct? Is Jakobstad in Finland? I guess it is, because I can't find it in Sweden. Cool fact, though. I don't know if it's a cool fact, but a lot of cities in Finland, especially on the west coast, do have both a Finnish name and a Swedish name, which in this case it confused me because he said it with the Swedish version of it, and that is because Finland was a part of Sweden for a long time, and we did our imprint on the country and named stuff, because the Finnish language is so much different from the Swedish. Yes. So Jakobstad is in Finland. Thank you about that, Johan. So I guess you're from Finland as well, then. No, you said you're from Sweden. Sorry. Haha, don't mind me. Oh, Hans-Peter Unnötig. You say something in German here. Let me try to read that. Wenn du das lese, den redisch du Schweizerdeutsch. That was Swiss German. Yeah, that was pretty different. Schweizerdeutsch. I don't know how to pronounce that, but yeah, I guess it says that when I'm reading this, I'm reading in Swiss German. Cool. Anyway, back to Switch. I'm gonna go sidetracked all the time here. I'm sorry for that. You are feel free to shout at me in the chat if you want to know more. I had a question earlier on from Erik. You ask why is 6th of June the national day, and also what people do on the national day. So I had to read up on this because we aren't taught in Sweden why we celebrate the day, and I guess you can look it up, but it's not common knowledge. So for me, I had to actually look it up. It seems as if back in 1523, we had a king called Gustav Vasa. I don't know if people have heard about him, but I guess he was the one other king who united Sweden, because we had different parts of Sweden that weren't united, but he got them united somehow. But the 6th of June, 1523, he signed a paper, I guess. I'm the worst describer, but basically he signed a paper, and Sweden became a free country and broke a former union called Kalmar Unionen. This is if tell me if this is boring, but it's kind of boring. But anyway, it has to do with some far away. But this is not the real fact. Like this is not the date when the 6th of June became the Sweden's national day. Actually, this is something that we afterhand made as the Swedish national day. It says here that the first time that this date, the 6th of June, became the Swedish national day was in 1973. And it's also called the Swedish Flags Day, actually. So there you go. I'm gonna go into why we celebrate it shortly. I'm just gonna try to read through your comments here while I do it. And I'm sorry if I'm squinting like this, and that's because I don't have my glasses on. I should have worn my glasses, but I think I'm prettier without my glasses. But hey. Johan, you say I'm from Finland. Just said that the English first and then what it is on Finnish didn't mean that I am from Sweden. Okay, makes sense. Vera, you say that some Swedish cities also have Finnish names. For example, Umeå is called Umaja. I didn't actually know that. That is cool fact. So, according to Vera here, a couple of Swedish cities, sorry, a couple of Swedish cities have a Finnish name. I guess that's only used in Finland though, but that's really cool to know. I didn't know that. But if I'm looking at the map over Finland, I see both the Finnish and the Swedish name for those. Den 15 juni får jag sommarlov. Grattis Anton. So the 15th of June, you're going on summer break. I would love to go on summer break on the 15th of June. Unfortunately, I'm working, so there's no summer break while working. But I'm gonna try to take some time off between July and August. But I will hopefully do YouTube. I don't see YouTube as a job, so job means sitting in an office doing stuff. That's not YouTube. Okay, Aiden says that our British town names have a lot of old Nordic Viking influence. That's correct. I think it's most of a lot of cities and a lot of English places are influenced, and also the language are influenced by the Vikings, and that is because when I say we, I mean the Norwegians and the Danish people went over there and did a lot of stuff. They didn't only pillage and war and stuff like that. They also integrated within the society, because otherwise the names wouldn't have stuck. I did actually a video about Old Norse words that still exists within the English language, which is really cool. And I'm sure there are a couple of cities within the UK that still are with the name still coming from Old Norse, I guess. All right. Talk about Sweden's history. I'm so ashamed that I. One of the things that I don't really know. I know a lot of things. Not really, but I read things that interest me is like Roman culture, Egyptian history, for example. But for some reason, I'm not that into Swedish history, which is kind of embarrassing because I am from Sweden and part of our school, we were taught the Swedish history while going to school, but apparently I wasn't paying attention. But there's a couple of key events that are worth mentioning. Um, for example, we have Gustav Vasa, who kind of. Let me just. Exactly. Sorry. I just wanted to check so I'm not saying it incorrectly. But Gustav Vasa was a king that we had back in the fifth. How do you say it? 16th century. It was year 1500s. But he basically reunited the whole country as a whole because it was split behind. It was split amongst different regions, like the south, and we had in the middle as well. But what he did, he basically united all these unions. Um, and then we also, I'm jumping a lot here. I should have prepared something here. I should have like written something because this is embarrassing. But one of the key points is that we invade Denmark and Denmark invade us. They take a part of our southern part of Sweden. That's today called Skåne. And we take it back. We invade Finland. We invade Norway. We're pretty much the bad guys of Scandinavia, I guess. And then slowly these countries gain their territory back. And I think Norway is celebrating their national day because of their independence. Could that be incorrect? I'll, the Norwegian National Day is on the 17th of May. I think everybody in Sweden knows about this. I don't know why we I think we know more about the 17th of May than we know about the 6th of June, which is kind of ironic. But I'm gonna read an article here to see why Norway celebrate their national day. So it was that Norway wasn't declared an independent country from Sweden until 1814, which is kind of pretty recently, actually. So I guess that is one of the main reasons why they celebrated so much, because they got rid of the Swedes. I don't blame them, though. It was a good run having Norway as an alliance, but Norway, they do good on their own as well. Let's see. Oh, that's a good question. Is my background real-time Stockholm? That is actually a good. I will take that as a good compliment. Actually, I actually animated this background. It is actually Stockholm, but what you're seeing is it's actually a lot of green screen stuff going on in the background. And if you look closely, the particles are reversing sometimes when the loop is over, so it doesn't look too hacky, I guess. But this is basically me playing around with effects. But it could be. So yes. I don't know how much you know about. I started off. I'm getting so sidetracked. Sorry, I'm the worst live stream host of all time. But hopefully, you're having a fun time. Hello from Ireland. I wish I could speak with your accent or with your, well, the Irish language. I did try it though. Kri Isha. Is that something you say? Kri Isha. Yeah, something. I don't know if it means something, but yes. Yes. So earlier, before I got sidetracked in all of this stuff, I was talking a little bit about fun facts about Sweden, and I get the question a lot. One of the questions I get a lot is whether what kind of religion we have here in Sweden, and that is a tricky question. I guess if you look it up on Wikipedia, I think it will say that Sweden. I'm gonna look just to see what they say, but I would guess that they say that we are a Christian country. But. Do they say that? Probably. I can't find it. But the thing is that Sweden is a very secularized. Is that how you pronounce it? We're not a very religious country at all. We do have the church. We do have the Christian church here, but I wouldn't say it's very active. Well, maybe I'm talking from being a Stockholmer. Here, at least here in Stockholm, it's not very common to be religious, but I'm sure it is elsewhere. But what is funny is that we don't regularly go to church on Sundays and stuff like that. We do celebrate a lot of Christian holidays, but that is just for the sake of tradition, I guess. At least that goes for me. I can't talk for every Swede. But I think it's pretty funny that we still remain. A lot of people still want to go and they still want to marry and go to church and have the marriage there. While it's getting more and more popular to get married outside of church, but and we still in many schools still have their when school's over, they still have the ending ceremony within churches for some reason, and we sing a lot of songs that are Christian, but I don't think a lot of people could identify as being Christians. At least I'm not doing it. But it's pretty secularized country, and we think. And even though people are Christian, I guess that it's not the crazed type of. It's not the Catholicism, or it's definitely not the type of Christianity that's going on in the U.S. in some states. We kind of find that pretty peculiar. Is that the word? I guess. Lemon juice. If you like Roman and Egyptian cultures, you could tell how these cultures influence the Swedish culture. Well, that's a difficult question. Well, the main part is, there's one reason. I guess that they both have influenced. All cultures basically have influenced all cultures in some way. Maybe not in a major way, but in some way, somewhere. But the Roman Empire didn't actually stretch up here to Sweden. So they weren't up here pillaging. They didn't invade Sweden or the Scandinavian. So I think it's funny though, but even when you look at the ancient Egypt and what they did at that time, they built pyramids, they had gold, They did all these inventions. They were pretty much awesome. When you look at what we did up here in Scandinavia, but that time we were pretty much cavemen, uh, um, living out off the land, living in small huts. We were not very sophisticated back then, but I think that's really interesting how one part of the world was so cultivated. Well, I guess we were cultivated in our own way, but it's not. We didn't have cool inventions and stuff like that. It took a while before we got there, and I think the blooming of I can you say the bloom of Sweden when we flourished was I hate to say it, but I think it's actually after World War II, because the whole Europe was in shatters, while we were pretty cowardly, sitting. We weren't invaded, but Sweden did kind of help Nazi Germany to transport things through Sweden, and I think they also mined a lot of iron from Sweden. And so when the rest of Europe was pretty much bombed, uh, we helped the rest of Europe to rebuild, and that kind of made the Swedish society flourish, which is kind of sad in one way, I think. Um, and it's funny how Swedes still claim to be. They still claim that Sweden is a neutral country. I don't know how to pronounce the word, but I wouldn't say that we really are, because we're still exporting a lot of weapons to other countries, and that's, in my opinion, like you can argue with that, but in my opinion, that's not very neutral. Um, so we're like the ones sitting uh, behind uh, the theater curtain and just giving weapons to the countries doing wars, I guess. That was my take on it. Sorry. I'm sure people will say that otherwise, but hey, I'm doing the stream now. That was my Arsenal. Arsenal? It was my Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. Ian, I used to have to sing Christian songs every week. We used to have loads of church services. Ugh, hated it. Yeah, it was like that in Sweden as well. It wasn't long ago. I think back even only 30, 40 years ago, you had to. They started the day by singing psalms. Is that the word? Hymns from the yeah, Christian songs basically. And I think that people didn't understand what they meant. They just did it out of tradition, I guess. And I'm so glad I didn't have to do that. I have sung a lot of, I have a couple of hymns, Christian hymns, but that's due to, yeah, when you quit school, there are ceremonies, and then you have to sing these songs. They don't mean anything to me, but sorry, we do it out of tradition. Hej från USA! Hej hej! Did you study English at university, or do they just teach you it really well? Obviously, they don't teach me very well because I can't read what you're saying. This is good to know, actually. In Sweden, we get to learn English. Sorry, this was from Alice Christine. Hi. Thank you for your question. In Sweden, we get to learn English from pretty much first grade when you're about 7. So we call it our B language. We have B. A language is Swedish. Then we have our B language is English. And then when you get to, I don't know how it is today, but when I went to school, we got to choose C language. Or am I messing this up? Anyway, we got to get to select a third language in 6th grade when we are about 13. And so English is with us a whole way. and which is one of the reasons a lot of people here in Sweden speak a pretty decent English. Um, but it wasn't like that until like maybe it started when I grew up. Because if you talk to older people here in Sweden, they can have trouble with some words and grammar and stuff, but they will still be able to talk with you, which is pretty cool. Johan Randström, can I shout out my main channel? Laughing my ass off. I'm pretty sure you didn't laugh your ass off, but sure you can. Do it. Kubjn. Love your nickname. Are you still single, Snigaman? Snigaman. Thank you for that. I don't consider myself handsome, but thank you. I'm actually not single. I've been in a relationship for 8 long years. It's not long years. It doesn't feel like 8 years, but it feels like it's gone very fast. But we're happily together. We're not married, so I can't say we're happily married. But yes. But thank you for calling me Snigaman, because that makes me happy. I'm here fishing for your compliments. No. Okay, Adrian. That's crazy. More people speak English in Sweden than in Canada per 100 people. So yes, I've noticed that. A lot of, well, here in Sweden, we're really interested in hockey. And we beat the Canadians in hockey. So I just got to put it out there. We beat the Canadians in hockey just a couple weeks back. Hey. But I've noticed that a lot of Canadian players, well, I guess they can speak English, but you can hear the French accent there. That's pretty interesting in a country where you have 2 different languages in one country. Yep. Is English mandatory in Sweden? Yes, it is. It's one of the main subjects here in Sweden. We are taught English as toddlers. Not toddlers. No, but kids. But it's one of the compulsory subjects in school. We have Swedish, English, math. I'm not going to go through them. You know, it's the regular ones, I guess. And then you're not... The third language isn't compulsory, but most of the people do them anyways. I did read Spanish from the 6th grade up to 9th grade, but then when I went up to high school, I didn't choose to continue learning Spanish. I chose to because I went to a high school for a musical high school. Basically, I'm playing the piano, but I switched my Spanish for playing piano instead, which for me was fine because I wasn't that interested in Spanish. I was more interested in playing piano. Jackalope YouTube. This is my 2nd channel. Lol, please check me out. Main. Okay. Sorry. How could you confuse main with 2nd? Okay. We all do mistakes sometimes. Jackalope YouTube. Nice to meet you. I will try to check you out while I'm not live streaming. Anton, you say jag fick välja mellan tyska och spanska när jag var 12. So Anton, he says that he got to choose between German and Spanish when he was 12. That's interesting. When I went to school, we could choose between German, Spanish, and French, actually. And I know in some schools you even get to choose languages such as Chinese and Japanese as well, which makes more sense. I would personally think that learning Chinese is more important than learning German because it's a big country and the economics there are going haywire. So it's going to be a country, if you want to do like businesses with Chinese people, then knowing Chinese is pretty good, I guess. Hi from Colombia. Hola, is that... I guess you speak Spanish in Colombia. Colombia. Ay, hola. Estoy muy bien. Vive en Suecia. I don't know. My Spanish is horrible. Hey from Poland. Uh, damn it, I forgot how you say hi in Poland. But I can say dziękuję. Dziękuję, I think that means thank you. Hej från Helsingfors. Moi, 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 moi mukulat. Moi mukulat. Lemon juice, you ask, får barnen välja språket eller får föräldrarna välja språket? So that means, does the children themselves choose the language, or do the parents choose for them? The children get to choose the language themselves. I never heard of any instance where the parents choose for the kids. It could be that when you choose which high school to go to, the parents could be influencing their children to what school they're gonna go to. But in the end, it's up to the children themselves to select which high school to go to. So, but I know there's a lot of like parents who works as doctors, or maybe, yeah, works like that, jobs like that. They tend to influence their children to go to read medical stuff, which is kind of sad, because most of the cases these children want to do art or anything else, then they should do that. Aiden, here we must learn Gaelic, but 99% of the people forget it. 99% of the people, not 99% of the people, forget it all and don't continue with it when it's no longer required. So you could so in Ireland you get to choose between Gaelic, German, or French. Makes sense. I can see why people do not choose to continue speaking Gaelic, because it's not a very big language. But then again, Swedish is not a big language. So, well, if you can choose between English and Gaelic, then if I were born in Ireland, I would try to preserve my Gaelic knowledge, but that would require other people to be able to speak it as well. And I guess if you're the only one speaking it, then it's no use. Alice Christine, you say that the idea of A, B, and C languages is interesting. In my town, we had our A languages until 6th grade, and then we could choose a C language, French or Spanish, but no B language. I like you guys. I'm jealous. Well, I can see why. I guess you're from the US. I see when you are from an English-speaking nation that you feel that there is no use of learning other languages other than English, because you can speak English pretty much wherever you go today. But in Sweden, we have our language, and then we know that nobody speaks Swedish, so we have to know at least English to be able to speak to people. Kubian, have you traveled to Vietnam? I'm Vietnamese living in Helsinki at the moment. Wow, that's an interesting story. I've been really close to going to Vietnam. I've been to Laos and also Thailand, of course. We were on a backpacking trip throughout Thailand, and then we decided to go into Laos, which was a cool country. It looked pretty much the same as Thailand, in my opinion, although it was in the rainforest. But we wanted to go to Vietnam, but I don't know why we didn't. Maybe because we didn't have time. But I'm pretty sure I want to go there, and also I want to go to Cambodia as well. In Polish, In Polish, hi may be the same. Oh, okay, you took it away. Sorry. Sorry, guys. I'm reading chat right now. I'm getting sidetracked. I will try to go back to the Swedish things as soon as I'm catching up with you guys, because this is what I like. I like talking to you guys. Katarina, jag studerar svenska vid Helsingfors universitet. Jag hade en svenska lektion nyss. Sverige, one love. So you study Swedish at the university in Helsinki. and you had a Swedish lesson just now. Cool. Good. Hopefully you learned something, and hopefully I can teach you something as well. Gaelic is pronounced Gaelic, and Irish Gaelic is pronounced Gaelic. The more you know. Here in Figland, where's Figland? I don't know where Figland. Is that like a fruit land of imagination? Sorry, it's probably Finland, where I live. At least, if you go to Swedish school, you have to learn English and Finnish, and if in Finnish school you have to learn English, and I think this year I didn't need to learn Swedish. Yeah, I've heard that in Finland Finland has been a part of Sweden for a long time, and not any longer, obviously. But in Finnish school, they are taught Swedish, and I guess that upsets a lot of Finnish people because why would you have to learn a very small language just because? I get why they are removing that slowly. I think that would happen here in Sweden as well if we were forced to be taught Finnish, I guess. But it makes sense. Hi, in Russia we have to study English and Russian, obviously. And we can choose between Spanish and French. Cool, that's cool. That sounds like Sweden, actually. Katarina kommer från Sankt Petersburg. Jag studerade finska, ryska och engelska där. Cool. So you know a lot of languages then. That's pretty cool. I wish I knew Russian. I don't, but what you gonna do? Okay, back to some Swedish knowledge, because I guess that's why you're here. You guys are here because you want to learn something about Sweden. One of the things, I've talked about this in one of my videos, and I think it's so interesting. It's one of the things that we call fika. I guess you've heard about this because I've talked about it, and you've probably heard about it elsewhere as well. But fika is pretty much when you go. You can either have it at a cafe or at home or at the workplace or in the bathtub if you want that. But it usually involves having a cup of coffee and a cinnamon bun or a bun in general. It's a common way for us Swedes to socialize, I guess. One common way to start off a date, if you're meeting a new person or if a potential lover, you tend to go and have a fika. I pronounced that really weird though. A fika. As a first date, I guess. It's a good way of like speaking, and then again, we Swedes, we love our coffee, so haha. And one thing to notice is that abroad it's called Americano, cafe Americano. You know, the black coffee. We don't call it Americano. That's just coffee. It's bryggkaffe. It's a coffee from filter. And I know that some Swedes get really annoyed when people call it American coffee. Because the coffee here is a bit different. We tend to do our coffee a bit different from what they do in the States. Our coffee is referred to as rocket fuel in some countries because it's so strong. We like our coffee pretty strong. But yes, fika is pretty damn good. So if you're here and you're meeting somebody new, offer them to go on a fika at a cafe. They would love that. Hola. Hola. Another very Swedish thing I mentioned as well is the word lagom. Lagom it pretty much means not too little and not too much. It's just right. It's in between. And you can describe anything as lagom. I can be lagom. I'm not very lagom right now because I'm broadcasting to. It's 32 people watching right now. But lagom, it ties into the Swedish mentality of not trying to consider. You shouldn't think that you are better than anyone else, I guess. You should be lagom. But it also applies to food. Like if I were to cook something for you, and then I would ask, Was this how spicy was it?" And you said lagom. That's pretty interesting as well. If you would ask a Swede, I'm talking generally right now. I'm not talking for all Swedes, but if you offer something to me and maybe I don't like it, I will still say that I do because I don't want to hurt your feelings, I guess. But that's pretty common in Sweden that we don't tell people exactly what we think. Could be a problem in some cases because we know that it's still going on up here, that we are thinking, but we're not always saying what we think. And that goes also for the relationship between Swedes as well. So that could be a potential problem and also benefit. Sometimes you don't have to. It's like telling a white lie, basically. You don't always have to tell the truth. But yes. Sorry, I'm gonna read up on some comments here. Finns det någon möjlighet att jag skulle kunna få din bakgrund som en bild? Eller skulle inte ge den vidare bara till I could probably send the picture to you. I'm just gonna put it out there that this is actually not my image. I found this on the internet and I modified it a bit. But so I'm sure if that's, well, I'm pretty much breaking the copyright law right now by using it. So I should probably get someone to take nice photographs instead of stealing it from the web. But could you send me a message on I know there's a feature of sending private messages on YouTube. If you do that, then I'll see if we can do something about that. So, Newt, you have a question in general. Do people have torkskåp, drying cabinets, outside of Sweden, or is it just a Swedish thing? I never heard about people talk about them outside of Sweden. That is a really good question, and I don't think I'm the right person to answer that question. But if there are people here in the chat that are outside of Sweden, have you ever heard about drying cabinets? We call them torkskåp. It's basically a cabinet. We have them. Well, the place I've seen them the most is at kindergarten or maybe in the school. If the weather is, we usually use them in the wintertime when your clothes get really wet, and then you put the clothes in there to dry, and then when you take them out, they're dry pretty much. But it's like a big cabinet with what is it, poles where you can hang your clothes. You can hang a lot of clothes in there. But it would be interesting to know if they're used outside of Sweden, because I haven't heard of them either. Erik, you wonder if Swedish is similar to German. You're actually studying German, and when I'll finish, I'd like to study Swedish. Swedish and German are pretty similar, but I wouldn't say they are so similar that if you know German, you would know Swedish by heart. There are a couple of words and grammar that are shared between the languages, but it's still two separate languages in that sense. But when I'm pretty interested in German in general, but when I read some German news articles, I can still get the point from some words, but then you get lost with the grammar sometimes. But yes, if you're studying German and want to go on to Swedish, then it's not as if you were to go from Russian to Germany or vice versa. It's not a very long leap. Jakalop, you said that you have torkskåp in Finland. Oh, well, that makes sense. I guess all the Scandinavian, or you're not part of Scandinavia, but all the northern countries are pretty similar in the ways that we are living. Suomi. Aiden, you say that you've heard about the torkskåp or the drying cabinets, but only rich houses would have those. Well, I've never seen. Well, I've seen it in a couple of houses here. It's not very expensive to get one. It's just that it's very impractical because those cabinets are pretty huge. I've mostly seen those in school. Kubian, why is everybody in Göteborg called Glenn? I question myself that every day. We have a saying in Stockholm that everybody in Gothenburg is called Glenn because there are a lot of famous people coming from Gothenburg that are called Glenn. Actually, Glenn, it's pretty interesting thing to know. A lot of names back in the 60s and 70s and so forth in Gothenburg was actually influenced by the UK and especially Scotland for some reason. So a lot of people from that who's born in like the 70s or 60s are called Glenn, which is not a very Swedish name. And they could also be called Billy and stuff like that, which is pretty interesting actually. And I don't know if it has to do with Gothenburg being the most western big city in Sweden, so it's not very well. It's still far from Scotland, but it's closer than Stockholm at least. Next question comes from Aiden. Saunas. Why do you have so many saunas, especially in Finland? I would die in one of those. It seems like everyone there has. Yes, that's my take on it as well. There's a lot of sauna in Finland. We do have a lot of saunas in Sweden as well. It's very common here as well. A lot of people in Sweden love to do that, but we don't call it sauna in Sweden. It's pretty funny. All in English it's called sauna as well, but here in Sweden we call it bastu, which is short for badstuga. Badstuga means bath cabin, pretty much. So I don't know why we went all independent and decided to make a whole new word for something that was invented in Finland, but I guess we are not done with conquering countries. Yeah, Jackalope, please send a message on Facebook. I'm available. You can find my Facebook page there, and it's pretty easy to send me messages there. Okay, dispersion. You say that Hans Andersson is one of the most popular names in Gothenburg. I guess you based that out of some statistics. Andersson is one of the most common surnames in Sweden. And it kind of, all the son, the ending on son, are pretty common here in Sweden. See if I can actually find some statistics on this and tell you a little bit about it. Sorry if I'm if I am slow. I am very slow, sorry. So I really want to get this up on my, so I'm gonna, it's gonna look very weird right now for you guys, but I'm gonna do a little thingy here. Gonna put, I don't know if you see this. No, you don't. You probably don't see this, right? It's gonna be like a black thingy. That's not very nice. Can you update? That didn't work. We'll remove that. Sorry. I don't know why that didn't work. Gonna try it one more time. Could it be that it, oh, okay. I think I know why. Let's do this instead. Sorry. Moving around a lot of windows here. Live streaming. The peak of Nackagubben, isn't it? So sorry, guys. I know you love me. Okay. Hopefully this works better. No, it didn't. Damn it. Sorry. Okay. Never mind. I'm gonna ignore that. Could you please? Okay, couldn't. Oops. Whoa. My whole background went nice. Okay, so we have the statistics of the most common names in Sweden as of 2016. That could probably be pretty cool to know. So, the number one name in Sweden as of 2016 is actually Karl. Karl, as we say in Sweden, Karl, which is short for Kalle. You could also be called Kalle, which is a nickname for Karl. Number two is Erik. Erik. Number three is Lars. Lars is a pretty common name. Number four is Anders. Anders is also a part of surname. We'll go into surnames after this. Number five is Per. Per. So those are the four most common men's name. So when we go to women, that's men again, sorry. Sorry. There, we have women. The most common names for women in Sweden is, number one is Anna, or Anna. Number two is Eva, or Eva. I had to translate them. Number three is Maria, or Maria. Number four is Karin, or Karen. Number five is Kristina, or Christina. So those are the most common men and female names. So let's see what the surnames are, if I could find those. Yes. So the most common surname in Sweden is, as I said, Andersson, which pretty much means the son of Anders. And if I'm looking at the list here, the top 16 ends with son. So that it's pretty common to have a son in the end of the name. So number two is Johansson, the son of Johan. The number three is Karlsson, which is the son of Karl. Number four is Nilsson, son of Nils. And number five is Eriksson, son of Erik. So there you go. A lot of sons here in Sweden, which is kind of funny because in Iceland, I don't know if they have that tradition still, but they named their kids after, I think, their father. So if you're a girl, if your name is Anders, then if you're a girl, your name would be Anders Dottir, the daughter of Anders. And if you're a guy, your surname would be Andersson, the son of Anders. We used to do that here in Sweden as well back in the days, but for some reason we never. Well, I think there are occurrences of naming your child daughter as well, but it's funny that we only named our kids son. So even if you're a girl, you could be called Karlsson, which would mean that you're the son of Karl, which isn't that correct. So that's a bit interesting thing. Let's see what people are writing. Erik is the second in Sweden, and I'm from Spain. Erik, yes. I don't know if that's a very common name in Spain, but Erik is the second most common name in Sweden as of now. I know I've met a lot of Erik in my days. I guess it would be Enrico or Enrique in Spain. Uftud, where does Johan place? Oh, Johan, sorry. Couldn't read what you mean. So, where does Johan place? Johan is a pretty common name as well. Johan places at place number 7 at the top most common names for male in Sweden. So about 100,700. Oh, no. 176,000 people are called Johan in Sweden. Or at least have them as their first name. We do have second names here, or middle names that they're called. Kubin, you say that it is 40% of the population in Vietnam has the last name Nguyen. And that means a lot, about 40 million people. 40 million people? In Vietnam? What? How many people are there in Vietnam? Is it that many? That's a big country. Gotta look that up. And I even misspelled that. I typed Vietnam. Wow, 90 million people. God damn it, on such small... Okay. Well, there you go. I guess that's funny about Sweden as well. The area that we populate is pretty big. I think that if you put another Sweden below Sweden, you get down to about Italy. But still, there are so little people living in this country. There's a lot of forests in Sweden. So there aren't a lot of people here. Yeah. So, but 40 million people called Nguyen is hilariously a lot of people. That's about 4 times as many people as in Sweden. And they only have the same surname. That's pretty funny. So Nut, you say that Sweden is the 5th largest country by area in Europe. That would make sense. It's a pretty large country. And I have my personal opinion about... I know there's a lot of debate going on with refugees and stuff. I'm not going to go into that too much. But in my opinion, we have a lot of space here in Sweden. The question, though, is do we have enough money to build on the spaces? As of now, Stockholm is expanding explosively. I think there is about a busload of people coming in to Stockholm every day, moving in. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of space here in Sweden, and I don't think that we should argue if there's space enough, but rather do we have the proper housing for people, and that I'm sure that we don't. And I'm still so pissed, can you say that, about the decision that we, at least here in Stockholm, we decide to, when we build new buildings, especially in the city center, they still build, we never build more than about 8-9 stories high, which is ridiculous. I think it is because they want to preserve the view of Stockholm, but I think it's bullshit. Like, do they want people to come into the city and work, or do they want people to have places to go, then start building higher buildings, taller buildings? I think it's not a valid point to argue that they want to preserve the view over people's right to live somewhere. So hopefully they will change that attitude soon. But yeah, that's in my opinion, it's not very good, because sure, it means that Stockholm is expanding more on a wide basis rather than upwards, which means that we have to build more houses instead of taller buildings. So yeah, that's my take on it. This person, you say that there are 300,000 people with the same name, Wei Xiang, in China. All right. I guess that's your whole name. That's interesting. That's about the population of Malmö. It gives her good. Sorry, I'm hiccuping here a lot. How long have I been streaming for? Oh, about 1 hour. Cool. Hopefully you've been entertained during this time, and I hope I don't mumble too much. I'm still new to this streaming thing, and I will hopefully improve because I think this is so fun to do. Honestly, this is almost better than doing the regular YouTube videos, um, because I'm finding right now that it's so fun to do the actual videos to tape them, but uh, sometimes I don't find the energy to edit. The edit part is taking a lot of effort. Although I think it's fun, but when you do about 2 videos a week, which I'm not really doing, but about 1 video a week, still takes a lot of time. And with when I have a work, I'm working on in the daytime, and then you have to go home and do editing. I'm sitting by a computer all day long, and then I come home and do the same thing, pretty much. Uh, but I would love to be able to do this full time, to be able to take the dame time on recording videos and editing, because I think the content would be even better, and I would be able to make more videos as well. Um, but I guess that's a future issue as of now. But one day, my guys, with your love, we will get there. Anton, you say that you live 1 mile from your school. 1 mile is not one American mile; it's one Swedish mile. 10 kilometers. That is very far away. Well, it's not that far away, I guess, but I guess it takes some time to get to school. Okay, so in Mexico, almost all have 2 names. My mother has 3 names: Maria Garciela Alicia. Well, that's not how you pronounce it in Mexico, though. I keep doing the lisp part because Spain, you know. Oh, that's interesting. I've heard that in Brazil you have a lot of names, which is funny. There are people here in Sweden with a lot of names as well, because as the country is becoming more and more equal between the genders, then I guess both parents want their influence on the children, and usually you get to choose. You get one name that you name your children. This is individual. This is not for all children, but this happened to me. Is that both parents decide on one name, and then I got one middle name that was decided by my father, and then one middle name that was decided by my mother as well. And then I also got my mother's last name, and then my father's last name. So I have 5 names, which is I could consider myself a Brazilian. uh, have you grown up in a big city, a town, or a village, or which of these are most attractive for me to live in? Good question, actually. I was brought up here in Stockholm, so I've been living in a big town. Big in quotation marks. It's big for being Sweden, um, for my whole life. So I couldn't see myself living outside of a big city. With that said, I would never. I don't. I don't. I don't want to live within the city. I don't want to live in the city center because that's too busy for me. I still want to live somewhere close to the nature, but still within like at least a half an hour into the city center. Um, so, yeah, I think that's the answer to that question. Mortalis aertinus. I can't pronounce your name, sorry. You also say, by the way, I love your cute traditional red houses. Last summer I visited my boyfriend and in his village, a place called Ulricehamn. And there was so many of such. Yeah, those are cute. You can't find many of those in Well, you can. If you go outside of Stockholm, you will find those, but those are often occurring in um, in the countryside. See if I can find any pictures of those. Not horse, house. I wrote Swedish horse and I got the Dalahäst. Oh, this is a good picture. See if I can bring. I'm so bummed that I can't share the whole screen, so I have to like save the picture and import. I don't know if it's because I'm live and it won't allow me to do stuff, but we'll see if this works. What was that? What? It didn't work. Hey. Oh, you was sorry there. Sorry, guys. I'm the worst show host ever, but I'm learning. I'm learning. No, it didn't work at all. That was completely. Okay, here we go. Haha! Swedish house. I'm gonna have it next to me just to for the sake of it. I'm looking at myself in the stream. I love how I'm squinting a lot. It's funny. This is because I don't have my glasses on, I guess. One Swedish mile. Are miles different there? Yes, as I think most of the world knows, the US for some reason has decided to go with their own measurements in all kinds of ways, which is weird. And that goes for everything. I think also the Britain has their own measurements, but in Sweden and the rest of the world, 10 kilometers is 1 mile. And oh, I'm getting my glasses from my dad. Ah, so I'm back in business. But well, in Sweden we say en mil, 1 mile is 10 kilometers, and 1,000 meters is 1 kilometers. So that's what. Oh, damn it. Karin, you ask, hi, what is your favorite Swedish dish? My favorite Swedish dish is Swedish dish. That's a good question. Since I'm a vegetarian, I can't do the Swedish meatballs anymore. But one of the things I do like is having caviar on my sandwich. That is weird. That is one of the weirdest things that we have here in Sweden, I guess. But we have caviar on a tube like this, and we put it on our sandwich. Usually it's like a hard bread. It's called knäckebröd, and that's pretty good in the morning to have. And you would probably say that that's wow horrible, but that's cool. Erik, you ask if I live in a house like this. Wow, I wish I did. But as I said, these houses are normally located with on the countryside. You would have to go like about 45 minutes outside of Stockholm to find these kind of houses with car. That said, it would be like an hour with the public transportation. But no, I don't. These are pretty. I like these houses as well. But yes. Alice Christine, caviar in a tube. Godness, that's so fancy. Here we just have cheese whiz in a tube. Yeah, it's not the Russian caviar type of thing. It's a different type of caviar, which isn't that expensive. It's not the black caviar type of thingy. I'll see if I can find. Yes, here we have a great picture of caviar. I'm gonna put it into the stream, and you will see how great it is. this is one of the things that we do. Oh, I have a prop manager here. I think my dad is watching the stream. Here is a tube of caviar. Uh, he was bringing me props while I'm doing this. So this is a piece of caviar. It's actually brand new, so it's not open. But what we do is, as in this picture, we put this. I'm doing advertisement here, but hey, on a sandwich, you can have eggs on it as well, and you eat it. And I know a lot of people don't like it, but it's weird, isn't it? It's weird. Svennes, and also I love the fact that no, they don't. They used to have. Oh no, sorry, that's that brand. If you look at the brand on the picture besides me, there's a guy, like a blonde, the typical stereotypical Swede, called Kalle. Now this is called Svenne. Svennes kaviar, extra mild, extra mild, lågpris. This is the one I like. The one on the picture I don't like as much. I don't know if people can tell the difference, but Svennes is very the one of the when people are told that they are very Swedish, they are called Svenne. Like that's almost like a rude way of telling you that you're a Swede. Often people from other countries call people Svenne. It's like when you're living the typical Swedish life of having a Volvo, living in one of those houses, having a dog and a family, then you're a Svenne. And then I guess you have to eat one of these as well. Oof, dude, you ask, so 10 kilometers is called a mile. I'm so stuck on this. I've never heard this before. Stupid American education system. Well, I guess you're not the one to blame, but what I think it's weird is that in the US, there's a completely different system for everything, but elsewhere in the world, we don't have it. I think it goes for the same thing with measuring temperature. You have Fahrenheit, I think, and we have Celsius here. And I think rest of the Europe has as well, and elsewhere. But yes, 10 kilometers is called en mil. At least in Sweden. I don't know if it's called en mil or 1 mile in elsewhere. Maybe not in Germany. I don't know. Jackalope, Volvo is the best. Nothing can beat it. Well, unfortunately, it's not very Swedish anymore. Well, it is a Swedish company, but I think it's being manufactured in China nowadays. But yes, it's a good car. It's a great car. Übermescht. I've spoken to you before. I think I sent you a cap even. Hey, I'm so glad that you're doing another stream. I've missed the previous one. Are you going to play Babadoom again? Not this time, unfortunately. This stream is gonna be about Sweden because it's the 6th of June and it's the Swedish National Day, actually, or we call it the Flags Day. So, and when I said that, I just realized we got to have a Swedish flag here. We can't have a stream without the Swedish flag because, you know, we have to honor the flag. No, we're not like in the US where you have to like salute the Swedish flag. But there are a couple of really weird rules for when you can wave your flag or put it on your flagpole. You shouldn't have it on at different times. I should probably remove these other images. Yes. Sweden! Here you are. I shouldn't cover my face. Sorry. Haha! Sweden! That's the Swedish flag if you didn't know. So this person, you say that it's a Scandinavian mile. Okay, oof dude. I could be wrong when I say 1 mile is 10 kilometers worldwide. At least it's like that here in Sweden. And I guess in Scandinavia as well. But that it could lead to some confusion when I speak to an American and say that it's 2 miles away. For me, that's 20 kilometers away, and not 2 American miles. IBMS, do you think that I should teach you some Swedish? Well, hey, that's a good thing. Teaching Swedish is the thing I do best. I don't have anything prepared though. That's the weird part. But let me see if I have anything on my list of things that I could teach you. In the meantime, I'm gonna read. Oh, that's. Thank you, Anton. Thank you so much. I forgot about that. The national anthem. I was actually going to show that or play that because it's the holiday of Sweden. So I will try to get that going, hopefully. If my computer isn't... It's very slow, sorry. But yes, I'm gonna play the national anthem of Sweden. We say nationalsången, which translates into national song. Nationalsången. Should I sing along? I don't know. Okay, are you ready, guys?
Du gamla, du fria, du fjällhöga nord, du tysta, du glädjerika sköna. Jag hälsar dig gränaste land upp på jord, din sol, din himmel, dina ängder gröna.
I'm not reading.
Din sol, din himmel, dina ängder gröna.
It's several verses long, so I'm not gonna sing all the verses. But I can't believe I just sang on the live stream. Sorry if I ruined your ears, but let's see what it means. Gonna get the lyrics up. It goes like this. Du gamla, du fria, du fjällhöga nord. That means you old, you free, you mountain high north. That's a pretty good beginning, I guess. Du tysta, du glädjerika sköna. That means you silent, you joyful beauty. So already we can see that we're proud of being free, having big mountaintops, being silent, and being beautiful. That's Sweden. Then it goes, jag hälsar dig välnaste land uppe på jord. I'm greeting you, O mighty land on earth. Din sol, din himmel, dina ängder gröna. Your sun, your sky, and all your meadows green. So we're basically singing about the the country, I guess, or the part where we're living. This song was actually written in 1940. That's not 1844, which is that old actually. The text was written then, and then the text was put on an old folk song actually, which is kind of interesting. Dispersion, you say, would you do a small video for Små grodorna at Midsummer? Yes. Well, no, well, maybe. I have an idea of that one. I want to try, not pickle herring, surströmming at Midsummer. I haven't tried surströmming, so it's going to be interesting. I've told that it smells like death. Oof, dude, you say that it's noon here. Gotta go. We must do more of these live streams. Bye. Bye, Oof, dude. Nice to meet you. And I guess good night. uh, cool stuff. But yes, there you heard a little bit about the Swedish national anthem. It's pretty fun. Um, it's a great national anthem. I don't know. I'm just talking rubbish. But most of the time you hear it is, I guess, when we win like hockey games or stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much what it does. Does. Um, One thing I was thinking about. Yeah, I think I've gone through this. I'm thinking about things that we could talk but about Sweden. But I think I've covered most of the things in my videos already. But surströmming, as I mentioned, is very Swedish and is a really weird thing. It's pretty much it's rotten herring in a can, and it's been or fermented, but it's rotten, I guess. But it's been in a can for a long time. And I've heard when you open the can, it smells like death. So the tradition, or what you're supposed to do, is that you're supposed to open the can below a bucket of, or within a bucket of water, so that the smell isn't as bad. But we'll see how that goes. So hopefully I will get around to do that. Jutta, you ask, is there something every Swede does today? In Finland, everyone watches famous people shaking hands with the president on TV on the Independence Day. Well, that's the fun part. It's interesting about the National Day here in Sweden is that we don't really do that much here. I know there's a TV show going on right now where they have some kind of a parade in Stockholm, but other than that, it's just a red holiday. And I guess we enjoy being off work for a day. But other than that, there aren't really, that I know, any big traditions that we have. The more popular events are midsummer, I would say, where we sing very weird Swedish songs and dance around a pole. So that is more a more Swedish thing. But as I said earlier in the stream, I think that has to do that we don't have anything really to. There's no real reason why we have the 6th of June as our national day, other than that it was the day that Gustav Vasa signed something back in the 1500s. But we don't have it as the Norwegians do. Like they're celebrating their Independence Day, really, and I guess the Finnish people are doing as well. But we were never really invaded by any country, so we don't celebrate it as much. Victor Morrison asks, var brukar du åka under midsommar? Har du en sommarstuga? And that translates into, where do I go anywhere during midsummer? Do I have a summer cabin? I don't personally have a summer cabin, but my parents do. And it's down in Skåne. And I've spent most of my midsummers down in Skåne, which is pretty nice. It's bound to have more sun than up north, I guess. But I usually go to we try to go to midsummer celebrations there, which involves people dressed in folk costumes, which is nice, and we're singing songs, and then after that we go and have a dinner with the relatives, all the whole family, and eat all the weird stuff that we eat here in Sweden, like sweet potato and herring, and I don't do herring, but you know what I mean. Okay, Karin, you say that the royal family is in Skansen every year of 6th of June. Thank you. They probably are. Uh, the royal family, the king, the queen, and the princess and the prince and the daughters and everyone are on the Skansen. Skansen is it's in Stockholm. It's on an island called Djurgården. It's a pretty nice place to be and a pretty common tourist attraction. But if you're in Stockholm, I would recommend to go to Skansen. They have a lot of. They both have animals, so it's almost like a zoo, but it also have like an exhibition of how Sweden used to look about 100 years ago. So you can walk into small houses and yeah, see how life was in Sweden about 100 years ago. And there's bakeries and stuff like that, which is cool. Var i Skåne? Johanna asks where in Skåne I've spent my days. It's in the eastern part of Skåne called Österlen, which is nowadays a very popular site for all the Stockholm people to go to. So the housing prices there have it's gone up by a lot. But yes, the beaches there are awesome. It's almost like being abroad. Up here in Stockholm, there are beaches, but it's since we have an archipelago here. There's a lot of rocks, and which is nice in its own way. But if you're gonna go for the beach kind of beach, then you should go to Skåne or maybe Gotland, for example. What is my favorite thing about Sweden? My favorite thing about Sweden is, I think, even though it may be not entirely true, but I think I like the fact that we are pretty free to do whatever we want here, and we're free to express our own opinion about things. And I like the fact that you can believe in pretty much anything, and yeah, it's a good country if you want to do stuff, I guess. Niall Skinner, you say glad nationaldag. Thank you so much. Although it doesn't mean that much to the Swedes, but thank you. It's a fun day. It's one of the best things about this day is that you get off work. But yes. Johanna, you ask if I've been to Kävlinge. Kävlinge is in Skåne. I don't think I've been actually. I think I've driven through Kävlinge. I know where it is, but I haven't stayed there. But I should check it up. Do you need to speak Swedish that fast, or is it a special accent or something? Sorry. It's I think it could be my accent, or not my accent, but rather me in general speaking fast. If you want, when I try to speak Swedish to you, I'll try to speak slower. But I'm pretty. Well, it depends. It could be a mix of both being my accent and my personality. Jackalope, you say that you want to come to Sweden and do something with Sara Aydin and her crew. I don't know who that is, but it's probably a cool person. Anton, you ask, this is for all you in the chat. Look at Anton's. I'm going to read it slowly so you hear how I speak. Brukar du åka slalom? That's not how I speak. I would say, brukar du åka slalom? That means, do you usually go skiing, like slalom skiing? I used to do it up until a couple of years back. So I know how to ski, and I've done it a lot in the past years. I haven't done it in a couple of years now, and I wish I want to go. I hope I can go another day as well because it's really fun. I have tried snowboarding as well, but I'm better at doing skis. Doing skis, is that? No, that's not how you say it. Lauri, you ask, do people in Sweden usually have saunas in their houses? Well, there are a couple of houses do actually. I think it's more common in Finland to have saunas in their houses, but yes, there are a couple of houses. For example, I live in an apartment, and on the outside there's an extra building where they house a sauna, so you can rent the sauna actually. But yeah, it's pretty popular here in Sweden as well. Fabi, you ask if I've ever tried surströmming. No, I haven't, and it's gonna be quite an experience. I know for a fact that it's gonna be horrible. I don't like herring in general, and eating rotten herring is not something I would recommend. Jag äter barn. That's the best name ever. I have still not collected enough evidence to claim that you're still not a Norwegian in disguise. Do you have any final proof? My final proof for not being a Norwegian is that my Norwegian isn't that good. I don't know if you're from Norway, but if I were to try to attempt some Norwegian for you, it would be Hei, jeg kommer fra Sverige, og jeg kan ikke tale så bra svenske. Jeg kan ikke tale så bra norske for den delen heller. No. That's pretty much me trying to speak Norwegian, but I think it's more a Swedish with a Norwegian accent to it. Anton, you recommend to go to Idre. Idre is a part where you can go skiing up north. I can't remember if I've been there. I've been a lot to a place called Sälen, which translates into the seal. Yes, there's a ski place in Sweden called the Seal. Awesome. Johanna, you say that you have a sauna, but my friends don't. I guess you're living in Finland or in Sweden. I don't know, but I guess to have a sauna, it's not that people don't want the sauna. I think it's more of a cost efficient thingy. Like, you would need the space to be able to build a sauna within your house. But yeah. Iber Mesht, you ask, what thing do you like about the Swedish language that doesn't exist in the English? I like the fact that in Swedish I've heard that we sing when we talk. I don't know if this is correct, but I like that. I don't like, since I like music and I'm playing music. I like the fact that when you write music in Swedish, it's pretty, I don't know, it's easier, I guess. It's probably because I am Swedish, but I like the fact that it's the melodic. There's a melody to the Swedish language, which is pretty. That's the part that I'm most proud of. But what I'm not proud of is when Swedes who don't have when they speak English and they don't really pronounce it very well, and they keep their Swedish intonation. That's not something I'm very proud of. And if I were to imitate that, it would sound something like, when I'm talking English, it sounds a little bit like this, and it doesn't sound very, very fancy, if I would say it myself. But sometimes I try it my best. Victor, you want me to try something in Norwegian. So all you guys who want to see what that sentence is before I completely trash it, look at Victor Maurisson's comment. Okay, here goes. Jeg så deprimert. Jeg så deprimert. Jeg så deprimert. That means that I'm so depressed, which I am not. Lauri, you say that I'm quickly becoming one of your favorite YouTubers. Wow, that is big words. Thank you so much for those words. For me, it's being able to do these kind of sessions. It just makes everything just becomes so much more happier. Otto, din lilla jävel. Otto, din lilla jävel. You ask what's my favorite Krog song. Okay, so Krog is a band that I used to play in. Well, it's not officially disbanded yet, right, Otto? So, but my favorite Krog song. I really like when we did the song called Galax. So, if you're good at YouTubing things, then look up Krog with the capital letters and then Galax. It's a good song that we made. I'm bragging right now. I'm not very Swedish. Sorry. But yes. Let's see if I can find anything more fun about Sweden. I had a really good page up just recently, but I can't find it. Oh, here it is. So, good facts about Sweden. Did you know ABBA is from Sweden? Oh my god. Ah! Yeah, I actually had a playlist going on earlier today with really popular Swedish songs. And guess what? ABBA was on it. Sure, it's a stereotypical thing, but ABBA was very popular here in Sweden and is still very popular. I really like ABBA because there are so many songs that they did which are still good. And there are a few bands that have been able to do so many songs that so many people have liked. And I think that's a pretty cool feat to have done that. And other people or bands that are from Sweden, Ingmar Bergman, I'm pretty sure that you've heard about the director Ingmar Bergman. He's dead today, but he directed a lot of films that got famous abroad, basically. And we also have a little guy, he's my age as well, Avicii, and also PewDiePie. He is also my age for some reason. All the best people are in my age. So Avicii and PewDiePie, the best people from Sweden. No, I'm not saying they are the best people from Sweden, but they're my age, and hey, good year, 89. Johanna Nilsson, you ask me if I have any alla barnen skämt. Just gotta do some kind of a explanation of this before I attempt something. We have a joke in Sweden that begins with alla barnen, which means all the kids. And then there's something. Often there's a guy or a girl who is, unless the other ones. We can do a try one. Alla, I'm gonna do this with a Gothenburgish accent. Alla barnen kom över vägen utom Ada. Hon blev påkörd av en lada. Okay, that wasn't that funny. It means that all the kids got across the road besides Ada, she got run over by a Lada. Lada is a really crappy car from East Europe somewhere. Let's do another one just because I'm looking at a page here with a lot of. Alla barnen var så glada utom Eva. Hon vill inte längre leva. That was depressing. All the children were happy besides Eva. She no longer wanted to live. That was really horrible, but it rhymed. That's why it was funny. Mortalis, you ask, what kind of music do I usually listen to? I think I mentioned this in the last stream. Right now, actually, I'm listening a lot to a new genre. It's not a new genre, but it's a new genre for me. And it's called chill hop. And it's perfect music to listen to while you're working. And since I'm working a lot with programming, I'm sitting by a computer and writing text, basically. Then it's really good to have music that doesn't contain lyrics. Because otherwise I would get distracted. So chill hop is a really good genre. Otherwise, my favorite bands of all time is a Swedish band called Kent, spelled Kent. They've written a lot of really good songs, all in Swedish as well. So if you're into Swedish, then you should look them up. Victor, you say that PewDiePie is on Sweden's blacklist. I guess the media's blacklist, mostly. He's gotten a lot of bad attention lately, as you all know, which for me is pretty. He kind of deserved it, but then again, he's done a lot of good things as well as raising money for organizations as well. I'm not gonna go into that question, but PewDiePie, yeah, that's funny because he's so famous worldwide, but I know there's a lot of people who don't know who he is here in Sweden. But I guess that's people who haven't been on YouTube. But yeah, he is actually from the city of Gothenburg, or Göteborg, as it's called in Swedish, which is like the mortal enemy of Stockholm. So if we ever meet, damn, it's gonna be a battle. Let's see. A couple of more questions. Then I will have to wrap this stream up, actually. I've been streaming for 2 hours straight. I'm getting a bit nauseous. No, I'm not. I'm loving it. Let's see. Kilometers per second. Love your nickname, by the way. How did you come up with your logo? I'm gonna put my glasses on because I'm squinting like a fool. The teeth or mouth or whatever it is. Yes, I've gotten this question a lot. The logo that I have, nobody really seemed to see what it is. But it is actually, it's written Nackagubben as a speech bubble. But nobody seems to see that it says Nackagubben there. But that's what it is. It's Nackagubben and it's a speech bubble because I do a lot of languages. Victor, could you recommend any good universities in Sweden for learning computer science? I would like to study in Sweden. I've only briefly gone to university, and that was to study game development. But I quit because I'm one of those people who can't sit behind. I can't sit in the and learn too much. I'm more of a doer than a learner. I don't know if that's a word, but if you want to learn computer science, I guess you could look up KTH or KTH. You could also look up Chalmers, which is a school in Gothenburg. KTH or KTH is in Stockholm. I think those are the two main ones. I went to Stockholm University, but I personally wouldn't recommend it because it was too much theory, and the teachers, which I went with, wasn't that good. But it probably changed, so I shouldn't down talk Stockholm University for that. Fabi, you ask, maybe somebody else has asked this, but may I ask your real name? Ah, a few have been asked it, and I haven't really revealed my real name, but I think it's easily Googled. My real name is Johan, or it's pronounced Johan. Jackalope, I'm gonna go watch other videos, maybe come on later stream. See ya! See ya! Yeah, I will respond to your Facebook message. Diana, what language would you like to learn in the future? That's a good question. It depends on where I'm going. Whenever I go abroad, I tend to love learning the language where I am. So it doesn't matter if I'm in Germany or if I'm in Vietnam or if I'm in Colombia or whatever. Then I'm really into learning that language at that moment. So if I were to stay in a country for a longer period, I would definitely learn that language pretty quickly. I'm not saying that I'm a genius, but I'm really interested in it, and I think that's the main ingredient for learning a language is being interesting and also dare to talk to people as well, and dare to try to speak in their language as well. And if you're in Sweden and want to learn Swedish, be consistent. Try to speak Swedish because people will eventually speak with you. Johanna Nilsson, vilka olika språk kan du? That means which different languages do I know? English, German, no, Swedish, English, and then a bit of German and Spanish. But as I said, I'm horrible at Spanish and German. But I can make myself understood, I guess, if I speak in German. In some cities in Germany, you have to speak German. I experienced that when I was driving through Germany, and we were at a camping site, and I had to use my toddler German. But it worked. It worked as long as you're trying your best. Anton, when is the next stream going to be? That is a good question. I love doing this, and hopefully I can do it very soon again. I will normally I announce these type of things on my Twitter. So if you do have a Twitter, be sure to get I don't know, follow me there. But otherwise, maybe I'll try to incorporate that in a video. But it feels really wrong to just upload a video announcing a live stream date. But mainly Twitter. Fabi, I mean, a lot of people follow you for a good time. We still don't know your name. That's good. That's a good question. Good statement. Yes. I don't know. I think I am like most Swedes, and we are pretty concerned with our integrity, I guess. Even though it's really fun to talk to people, I still want to somehow preserve my integrity when it comes to that. But saying my name is not a problem. Johan, yes, it's not with two N's. It's spelled Johan. Johan. You think that Nackagubben fits my better? Well, I do too. Alt F4, you asks if we have an IKEA in every city. Almost. No, not in every city, but every major city, I would say. We actually have the biggest IKEA in the world here in Stockholm, in Kungens Kurva. I didn't know that actually, but I heard that. It doesn't seem that big, but it's apparently very big. You also, kilometer per second, you ask, do I know the song Vår tid, vårt land? No, I don't. It sounds like an old hymn from Sweden, I guess. Anton, you like the streams? Well, great to hear. I love being here and doing this type of things. It's really fun to hear and being able to interact with you guys. Victor, you ask, är Sverige ett dyrt land förresten? Som i Norge? That means, is Sweden an expensive country, by the way, like Norway? It depends on what you compare it to, I guess. If you compare it to to Thailand, yes, but well, yeah, it's a pretty, and it also depends on where you live. I guess to buy an apartment or a house here in Stockholm is pretty much impossible. But you can rent, but the rents could be really high as well. But it's not nowhere close as high as the rents in in London, for example. But I saw there was a chart of the most overpriced countries when it comes to buildings, and Sweden was on the top 5. I think the number 1 was New Zealand. So, Karin, you say that nu är det dags för efterrätt. It's time for dessert. So yeah, I'm about to wrap the stream up. Yeah, it seems like people won't go. Well, it's not bedtime right now, but I should wrap this things up because you can see I'm getting sweaty. This room is getting really hot, so I should wrap this up. So the Finnish anthem was written in Swedish, as we'll call Vårt land. That's interesting. Didn't know that. Why do the Swedes always go to Thailand? Well, that's a good question. I've gone to Thailand, but it's a really nice country. The people there are really nice and really helpful, and yeah, a really nice country too, especially to go backpacking in. Yes. Anton asks if I have an Instagram. I don't really have an Instagram for Nackagubben. I have a personal Instagram, but I rarely use it actually, so it's not much of a use, unfortunately. Lauri, next stream, I don't know when it's gonna be actually. I will see. I really want to plan the next one better because it got really dramatic there in the beginning with my computer messing up, and I didn't have that much content really. Became like a Q&A more or less, but it's been a really great time here. Johanna, the last question: if I have a DeviantArt, I do have an really old DeviantArt, but I don't know. I haven't updated that in years. I'll look it up, and maybe next time we speak, we can talk about that. All right, guys, it's been so fun having you here again, and it's so fun to see that there are so many people are willing to actually chat with me. I thought there were, like, the first time I did the stream, I thought it was gonna be like one, and it was gonna be one chat, but this is really fun, and it's really fun to see that there are so many people from different parts of the world, which is awesome. And hopefully you had a really great time here with me, because as always, I had a really great time here with you. And be sure to celebrate Sweden's National Day, 6th of June, with cake. Do it, because that's what I'm going to do right now. Until the next time I see you guys and your pretty faces, I hope you have a glad and splendid day. Bye.